off the bat, this is what I want to say, that if you don't have an understanding of a problem, you cannot really solve it. And this is where, and it takes great measure of understanding, because what happens with those who are in the diaspora who've been away many years, they don't truly have an understanding of what is happening on the ground. And sometimes we believe that what works in North America will work in Jamaica, and it doesn't.
Just everybody be mindful of when the other person is speaking, that it's not just a Jamaican thing, it's a diaspora issue. And the kids are falling behind and falling through the gaps. And even though we think that we can fix it with just certain things, I think it's a deeper issue to how much we are truly disconnected or how unloved we feel.
First, this is John Perry. Let me be so kind to open up, because I somewhat have an understanding. I had a brief talk with Mr. Renford here just recently, and I was on the Facebook page that he had last week. And one of the things that I came to realize, and he kind of touched on it tonight also, is yes, I had it, but the vast majority didn't. So we can't really talk to it. And there's others like myself which want to give back, and we're saying, oh, you didn't have that? And yeah, they didn't have that. So again, just because I didn't have it, it's my turn now.
It's something that is definitely we're seeing globally all over the world. Teachers are seeing it, parents are seeing it, and it's really about wrapping ourselves in spending our time finding out what is the disparities and what are the issues that we keep on seeing with kids and families going through diaspora. I'm going to hand this off. Just open up the floor again to anyone else who has anything to say, to add to the conversation.
Yes, let me just interject and say something, because what we're doing is it's out of years of discussion. Brother John and I, we have gone a couple of years now. We have been talking, and Trisha for a couple of years. And what we're trying to do is to figure out what exactly is going on, and treat with them, and people can chime in, that these young people, they are literally not like us. Trisha said they are the new earth, their mindset, and it's actually, I'm down in Jamaica for 6 years now, and even though I'm trying to figure them out, every time I go into school, I'm amazed at what I see. Yes. I'm like, really, the language. So if you have to be down here to actually see it and hear it in the classrooms. You have to have gone into classrooms. I mean, from 3-year-old coming up, they are completely, the language, the behavior, it's not, and you're like, how do we? So you know what is our problem? To catch up with them, to figure them out. So the issue is with us, and I want to say that we know after we're talking about them, we have to reconfigure our minds. The problem lies with us. Rethink and renew our mind to deal with, because they have, they're dealing with social media that we didn't have, the music that we didn't have, fractured homes that we didn't have, and all of this is a collusion of all of these come, and there are teachers that can speak to it. Teachers are here who can talk to it, and I'm amazed at what they're going through. I'm saying, no, even if you paid me $1 trillion, I would not be a teacher. They have created a whole new subculture. Miss Marie here, the teacher, actually reminded me of it. So there's a growing subculture of young people coming up, and it's growing daily, and it's taking over the normal culture that we have. So they dress differently, talk differently, think differently, the whole works. And it's how do we bridge that gap between us and them to actually reach them, because the suicide is up, violence is up, school dropout. Some of the teachers can tell you the figures, like high schools, and they're reading at grade 2 level, and many of them come to school to hang out, and you're like, what? You hang out, and you say, you don't have a future, they'll just shrug their shoulder. You can't figure your mind to say somebody is leaving school, and what you're going to do? I don't know. don't care. So what we have right now is like an avalanche coming down the stream that if we don't get on the surfboard, it's going to just inundate us as it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm not exaggerating. And it's not Jamaica. The Caribbean is seeing it too. It's North America is seeing it too. A growing trend. And what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to it?
And the CXC that was written last year in 2024, and he was saying that I can't remember, 100,000 or 190,000, only 10,000 passed throughout the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right? And then he's saying in the next 5 years or less, you're going to have 1 million students taking CXC exams, and only 50,000 will pass.
This sounds like an adult problem and not a kid's problem, and we're addressing it as if we are supposed to be catching up with the kids. Kids are there because we brought them into the world first of all, and we are supposed to be parents. We are supposed to be able to guide them and instruct them, not catch up with them. So I think the problem is not so much the kids as the parents. We're supposed to be here to guide them and to direct them and nourish them and guide them and all of these things. But but from what I'm hearing so far, I'm hearing that we're playing catch up. Shouldn't be playing catch up. The problem is not the kids. The problem is the parents. From what I've heard so far that you guys are saying. So I don't think the idea to, be trying to understand them so much as to get back to parenting.
You're doing a good job, Pablo. The ones who we're talking about, they don't have it. So they are, here's the new trend, Pablo. They are growing themselves up. They're coming to school, many of them, no mother and no father in their life. They're growing themselves up. So these ones, how do we rein these in? You did a good job. Brother John's parent did a good job. I did a good job with my Trisha is doing. The issue is them, and this is why we have some recommendations in the group. If you look in the agenda, and one of them is parent school. Here is the statistics when it comes to parents showing up. If you have 400 parents in the school, and this is across the board, not one school, 400 parents, if you get maybe 10 to a parent-teachers meeting, you're good. And I'm just giving you feedback, in terms of what teachers say, and you know what is the problem. I've heard that when the first time they see a parent, when they register the child, and that's the last time, parents block their number, said, don't call me. They actually deposit them into the school and say, you're on your own. Don't call me. This is what we're contending with. I love this conversation now, because what do you do with those ones who are parentless, who whatever? Let us hear, what do we do with them? Parentless and parent don't care, and they're doing all these things. What do we do?
Hold on. Let Pablo finish his conversation, and next would be Howard.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. We're never going to solve a problem that is not. Our kids aren't here. That's furthest from their mind to solve problems that are really ours. So the problem is not to catch up with them. The problem is to guide them. So if there's parents that are not here, we have to figure out a way to find how we can fill in where the parents abandoned. Not necessarily abandoned, but it's not guiding. But I don't see where it makes sense to figure out a child. A child is going to be a child. Them last. Them don't know nothing at all. You have to take into consideration that this is not the kids, the child's problem, the adult's problem. So we fall short as parents. We need. I remember one time you used to say it takes a village to grow. We have to go back to that.
Yeah.
It takes a village to grow a child, because a child is a child. I can't comprehend anything else outside of that. I don't know. Maybe I need to, like Renford said, to renew my mind and my thinking. But I will never. I don't think it is where we should be playing catch up.
And I want to tell you guys, I don't know how much you keep up with technology at the moment. There's no going back. The pen and the paper came, people didn't want to use it. All of us use this. The telephone came, nobody wanted to use it. The calculator came, nobody wanted to use it. From scrolls to books, from books to computers to the internet, now AI. We are not going back. We cannot, the children won't need us. They won't need us. They will not need us. They won't need the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers. They just got rid of the Department of Education in the US. This is because the AI can teach. The AI can recommend health recommendations so you can self-treat at home. This is going to be incorporated into society so much that they're saying in 10 years, it's going to be everywhere. We just saw COVID and what it did to the school systems. A lot of children did not return to school after that. My children didn't return to school after that. They didn't finish school. They didn't graduate after that. And I think in part it has to do with the technology and what it allowed them to do and feel that they can do anything from anywhere. And we all have that feeling now. So do our children. Where we are now, this AI, this is not going to be like the last 10 or 20 years. This is not that. This is that on steroids times 10,000. The kids are using it in class. They are making apps to assist the students to outsmart the teacher. The most powerful corporation in the world has just canceled their Department of Education. It's going to be a trickling effect. The AI is going to replace that. This sentiment that the child can't lead at a certain point is totally correct. But as they evolve into who we are today, adults, adolescents, more important, teenagers, this is the critical time to get with the children. These are going to be the people who are going to be saving lives, teaching, volunteering, counseling. These are going to be the doctors. These are the future. They are the future. They are the leaders. We can't look at them as anything else.
One thing that kind of stood out to me as we were discussing and trying to understand, what's the dynamic, what's going on, I'm, recognizing, the definition of success is different for this generation. Is what has been defined as success from our parents is not the same anymore. So a lot of times it's trying to understand why are they not seeing things like this? Why are they not doing it like this? It's because the definition of what is successful, I think, has changed. What was traditionally deemed as being successful has changed. So let me give you for an example, when we're talking about education, getting a higher education, going to school used to be the thing you aspired to do, to get out of poverty. Now that's not necessarily the way that a lot of kids think now. It's not, you don't necessarily, kind of in line with, I don't remember what movie maker's name is, your actual name, but kind of in line with what he's saying is that children in a way are now, quote unquote, becoming smarter than their parents, and more knowledgeable than their parents. So what parents know or think is being successful to get ahead, it's in their generation, it's that's not the actual route anymore. There's a quicker way. I don't have to go to college. I don't have to do this. I can do something else and I can get quick answers. So it's such a different, we're definitely a different breed of people. And what Uncle Jeff is saying is, as those who are ahead of them, we do have to catch up in a way of understanding who we're dealing with. I think a lot of times we still think we're dealing with us and the thinking of what is important or what people aspire to.
That's right.
So I think that's kind of my comment is everybody is right on different angles. I don't remember the first man's name, but he was talking about parents and how it's about the parents. It is about the parents 100%. And I want to just but it's also about understanding the children who we're dealing with and their mentality. And the definitions of success to them is so different now. So we're trying to reach them through our definition of success. So trying to like reformulate or renew our minds to like what that is important to kind of even getting somewhere at all. That parents are not able to be as engaged. It's not that they don't want to be engaged. That's what we're recognizing now. There's such a gap in the education, the knowledge, that parents don't even know how to engage. And so there's more of a laissez-faire attitude, like how am I going to even help my kids? What could I even do if I wanted to? Back in the day, it was just about, okay, you send your kids to school and your parents might not know how to read and write. Now the gap is even bigger than that. Like, parents who don't know how to read and write, but they also don't know about technology, or they don't know about financial literacy, or they don't know. The gap is so big that it's like parents don't even necessarily know how to engage with their children, with their education, so that's why a lot of the times the kids are left alone or not. It seems that what are parents even doing? I think there's an attitude on both sides. Like the children feel like, what's the point? I look at my parents, all the things they're telling me to do, they may have done or pushed to do. What are they? They're not successful in my eyes. And then the parents on the other side are like, well, I don't even know what to do because this world is so far ahead of me.
Boy. You know, we're living in an age today, and everything that has been said so far is quite valid. But there's another part that is hardly discussed. There are others that have agendas. When I was coming up, when I first came in this country, television was considered programming. And I knew about subliminal messages. I think we're living in an age today, and let's not be foolish or naive about this. There are others out there that have intentions, that have agendas. And in my opinion, the way I see it, and it's not just a Jamaica problem, I think I listen to Africa's conversation continuously now. And as much as they're striving to gain independence, you can see where it's a setup. You know, leadership comes and leadership goes. You know, either they're corrupted, you know, they put a gun to their head, either take the money or, you know, take the bullet. But I think there are children today, even we as parents, we're marginalized. Kids don't come to daddy anymore and ask him the question. You remember when daddy didn't even have an education, but we knew who was the head of the house. We don't know today. You know what it is? It's that social media, it's the internet, and it's AI now. All those questions are being... So, again, how does that parent feel? How does that dad feel? I'm 70 years old, okay? My kids are 40-something years old. My promise to them is, as long as I'm here, I'm going to continue teaching you. I don't even have that connection anymore with my kids. And they were good. They used to come to me diligently. The parents today are negated. You know what I mean? They're marginalized. They're not being used. Somebody else is taking them over. And, you know, we talk about the internet and social media. Who is social media? That thing is not accidental. It's an intentional algorithms. They know how to steer you towards something. Are they still steering us as people of color? But I think what has happened now, it's spilled over. It's catching everything in the net now. Everything. You know, so again, even though we talk about the parents, we talk about the kids, some of this is being driven that neither one of us have control over.
In the West, there was modernization was coming. And part of modernization is if I have a gun and I'm good with it, I make my rules. It's the same thing now with I am smart, I know the internet. No. Do you get to make the rules?
They don't even have
No. That's why we have governing structures in place to make sure that all of these stuff, they might have agendas, yes, but there are governing bodies in place to make sure this is put out there in a way that serves most of the time, the populace, are the majority. So.
But even look at that, my friend. Look at even that. When you talk about governance, we used to have and point to our presidents and our leaders as examples. Come on, can you still do that today? No.
No. So there is where it falls back then to parenting. So do we expose our kids to these things, or do we guide them first and say, hey, listen, you're not ready for this? You're not ready for this 2-year-old. What is a 2-year-old doing with a tablet?
But can I interject? There's a lot of people that are single parents now. And I hate to say it, the minority is a double parent home, right? Where we're talking about all these good things that can happen, and the parenting skills. A lot of parents are single parents, and they're having a tough time just keeping up with the bills and the roof over their head and the food on the table.
I mean, it's a difficult world, okay? And they didn't choose to be here, so now we have to become responsible, because we were brought up with the impression that when you have a kid, right, it's your problem. It's not the government or anybody. It's your problem. It's not necessarily a problem, but it's yours too.
Your responsibility.
Responsibility. All right. So, do you know because of this, right? And remember, you made that decision. You did what it took to get to that point where you're a parent, where you have a child now. So do you know, things is rough and blah, blah. No, you have to be responsible and start making good decisions. Another question of mine is are we talking about kids or are we talking about adolescents? Because the whole thing is to guide them into adolescence so that they can now make good decisions. So we have to start with the kids. And the kids is like Renford was saying, 2-3-year-old preschool, school. That's where we start. And so after that, to adolescence is kind of difficult. No, we have to be figuring them out when they're adolescents. But I'm talking about kids, like preschool. That environment where you are responsible to guide them.
Yes.
I want to understand maybe your perspective on why you think that's happening, because technically your generation are the parents of those people, of these new parents.
No, wait on them. No, we are doing things. So we have identified that literacy is a problem.
Yes.
High school children reading at grade 2 level, so we start a session.
I'm graduating
and can't spell cat and rat and bat.
Okay.
Some of them. And graduating to what? What kind of job you gonna pick up with that? So you're setting them up to be criminal and gunman, because we're not a welfare system and prostitution. And all the child sex trafficking is the parents trapping out the children.
That too.
Holy.
The big business in Jamaica, people don't know.
That
Yes.
too.
It was an eye-opener to me. So all of these things are containing with.
Jamaica has a lot of literacy programs. They need to help them. Jamaica has a lot of literacy programs. I'm meeting too many big men who just don't want to learn how to read. They shame. They're not telling you. They don't want to tell you. They have a lot of illiteracy programs where they can help themselves if they really wanted to progress. If they really took a stock. If they really took a stock and look around and see how reading helps your life, there are many programs in Jamaica, many libraries. I'm in Ocho Rios. There's an Ocho Rios library. We have the internet. There's too many things available for that excuse. It's 2025.
Yeah, but some people.
It's a shame. I don't know where the shame is coming from, but they have to get rid of that shame, and they have to, for themselves, they have to want it. I guess it starts in school, but somewhere there we need to intercept and make them proud to want to excel past what others have tried to show you.
Can I say something? But it's not everybody that can manage without having the prompt. Right? Whether they're adults or not. Not everybody can manage without the prompt. And we have literacy program out there that was put in place free. You know they're charging now. And some people can't even find the bus fare to go to it.
That's sheer laziness. Internet is free. YouTube is free. Don't buy that, mommy. Don't buy that from them. Them full of them lazy. Like master, me I tell you, them lazy.
So here's the mindset. Here's the mindset.
Can I say something really quick?
Go on like they don't want to learn.
What I've noticed in these kids and the adults that surround them and whatever, one of the things that put in my heart is that we can sit there and say literacy. We can say that they want to read, and we can say that they're lazy or not lazy or whatever it is. But if you are in that position and you cannot foresee a future because there's not jobs readily available,
and no encouragement.
There's no incentive.
No encouragement.
There's no incentive for you to do better other than to steal, be a gunman or whatever. Because one of the young ladies I spoke to, she said, I love poetry, I love to write, I want to be an author. And I said, well, this is going to be a self-published author. Nobody put that in her mind, that there's a possibility to be a self-publisher. So without giving them visions and dreams of what they can be, they can be introduced in Jamaica or in the Caribbean, and for them to be entrepreneurs and to go out and do, it's going to be, we're just talking.
They're not getting the info.
We're just talking. At the end of the day, we have to be, what does it mean if Amazon put a distribution center in Jamaica? What does it mean if there has to be incentive? Giving them incentive in order to dream. What's there to dream?
Yep, no dream.
That's one of the commitments I've made, because the problem is not only at home but externally. We face a grave danger, invasion of the home by the media, radio, television, now internet, and the people on there just don't take that responsibility serious. You have a few broadcasters like Mr. John Perry, CRR FM broadcasters that do take that responsibility serious every day, but not a lot do. They are spewing everything left and right.
So for instance, we have Mr. John here who has a radio station. But what it means to have a radio station at a school where the kids can learn to be a radio host, to be what it is to have a little station. But they get excited.
It's so multifaceted because they have schools. They have schools like Edna Manley. They have schools like the institutes in Jamaica. There's many schools. But sometimes, the cost. I'm getting to that. The cost is the cost is exacerbating. But this is one of the little tricks that they have us in, as if we still need that. We are in 2025. Those people are out of a job. You can go online and get the information for free if you so desire. You can go on YouTube and skip Edna Manley. You don't have to pay them zero. Now, if the cost has been alleviated, what's your problem?
The problem is not everybody can do that without somebody to encourage them. Not everybody can do that without somebody to show them. And even though we have in this young generation and social media, they go on there and they just look at the foolishness. It doesn't mean they're that brilliant to go further. And it needs somebody to push them to go further.
It started with the pictures in the books. Now it's just scrolling.
My point. So we need to push them. That's what
I just can't believe you can wake up and look around in your own environment and see people reading the phone, the TV, the book. You cannot miss that. Anywhere you go, you have to see how it is helping people and desire to help.
Just looking at pictures.
Yes, but there has to be an inner desire. And like I was saying earlier, God put the spirit in all of us before we were born. So as you guys were saying earlier, you can't wait for everybody. So we have to make that distinction somewhere.
Sir,
we don't develop it up, Papa. Somebody have to develop.
In the media that you're talking about, the agenda in the media that you're talking about, right? Is to deflate that. So maybe the media just did that. Yeah. By them looking at scrolling through all of these things.
Foolishness, yes.
It probably worked to them disadvantage. So it's true. That you might not see because you're smarter, but the people that get caught in the whole thing, there's an agenda to keep them there.
To keep them there and put all them little foolishness and all them do a scroll and laugh. It's not learning anything from it.
And I think sometimes we make. Sometimes I also recognize in myself that you don't understand how much. Like now, all of us have clearly been educated, and to put ourselves in a perspective to be growing up in a situation where education is not valuable or as valued. So we can't even conceptualize. Why wouldn't someone want to pick up a book?
I am speaking with 12 years experience. I've been deported since 2012. It's 2025. I'm educated in America, in Florida, in West Palm Beach. A little bit of college, mostly self-learning. Since then, online, university.
Yes, no, but I'm just saying, I'm talking about from a perspective
I'm looking
of somebody.
at it. I'm looking at it. It's all pride and ego. Everybody want to be a bad man. Yeah. I'm telling you, from first,
I wouldn't agree with
most
that.
Most
I don't
people.
agree with that.
I don't know the last time you were in Jamaica. Most people want to be a bad man, and a bad man don't have to read.
What I was trying to say was, just from my perspective as somebody who's had a thorough, traditional education, I used to think, oh, why doesn't this person want to do this? When I was in a relationship with someone who didn't go to school, and they didn't even finish elementary school, and I used to be so confused about it. But I don't recognize that just being in the environment that I was in puts my mindset to understand what's important already. But a lot of people in these communities, certain communities, or in certain families, when education or certain ways of thinking or mindsets are not valued or appreciated, it's not even something to be conceptualized yet. So, I think Leta's her name. So what she's saying is there are people, yes, they need a push because their mind is not even there yet to know that there's a push need. They don't even know that this is even something to move towards. It was just never even put in their mind ever. In some cases. That's why I try to change my perspective when I see people who don't seem to have that drive to want to learn or want to better themselves. It's not that they don't necessarily want to. They weren't even trained to know to want that.
In the information age, that is such a cop-out. In 2025, when it's free, it's such a cop-out.
Listen,
everybody has a phone.
I'm going to have to go, but I just want to say this. I had a visitor this evening. She came in and she said to me that, "Oh, you finished cooking?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm going to go cook because my grandkids, every Sunday they expect me to cook and I'm going to have to cook for them, the junk for them." Now, we have parents and I took her on. And I said, "Do you understand what you just said?"
Yeah.
I said, "Let me explain something to you. A jankro don't even eat a dead dog until it's completely dead. As long as that dog is moving his head, his tail, his ears, and breathing, they don't eat it. So you are speaking this negativity over your grandchildren, and this is what's happening still in society, that we black people still speak this negativity over our children. We tear them down, and then we expect them to excel. So if there is a jankro, and if you are a little slut, and if you are all of this, and how are you expecting me to excel when you already speak non-success into my life?"
This is a think tank, we're going somewhere, and we have, if you take some time to look at the agenda and the recommendations I have made, because by virtue of what we have seen, we have made some, and we're talking exactly this. So my takeaway, we need to target parents. We are jumping in with mentorship, building strong families and strong communities, all in the recommendation. Yes. I have consulted with so many people down here with my own bare eyes and observer in the class, myself, and school to see what happens. So after today, we're not going to labor the problem. Next week we'll come in with solutions, and in fact we're on the ground running already. So how do we do more and whatever? Because we see the problem and we're not going to just talk about it. So number one, we can jot that down. How do we engage parents? Number two, how do adults who are not parents, us in total, all hands on deck, every living parent, how do we, our adults, how do we get involved?
Amen.
Yes. And I think Dad House is a good one. I think we have, John is a wonderful example. Howard is a wonderful example. Pablo is a wonderful example. And Fabian's here. And I think we just have to have, like, men step up and that have done the parenting and have stepped up to the plate, come and be the mentors in these children's lives, and even other men, mentor other men.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it.
There's a program in the United States, and you guys can just Google it. It's called Dads and Duty. I put it in the recommendation. These are fathers who pick themselves up and go into this, and it's spreading across the United States.
Wow.
They go into schools that are violent. Police, pastors, citizens, teachers, principals come together and say, how do we figure this out and how we're going to get it done?
Well, you just said it, remake the village.
Yes, we have to remake the village. And Brother John said, the village not here again. You know what? We need a campaign, a national campaign.
Brother, yes.
Building strong families and community. Well, no, honestly speaking, because we go down the right path. I'm glad we have this discussion, you know, because we're all in agreement. That's where it begins. Forget, but we are taking place at school right now. Until you start to fix the village and fix the thing, we're not going to get nowhere. The teachers are overwhelmed. Them can't do nothing. By the time them reach high school, as you say, Pablo, the dice car, it starts from basics, from them born, it started. So we need a presence in the basic school seminars for these peers. Listen, if I heard that I would make it mandatory that parents have to do some workshops. And not only workshop, but follow up. Them should. Somebody mentioned it. The parents need mentors.
Mentorship. So true.
But on top of that too, Renford, I think also too, the teachers not just need support, but they need to be modernized. And I think that's what's lacking as well, is the modernization of a lot of schools in the Caribbean. The technology needs to be present in order to be at the same level as in competition with an industrialized nation. The foundation of the Caribbean will always be the foundation, but in order for us to step up, I think there needs to be more technology and more tools for children to be successful.
The income people fear for their life. I was talking to a guy the other day, and I said the most time people get involved is when it directly affect them because them life okay as this now. People fear for them living now. Like God is not there. God no, I'm not saying I.
How did they get gone in their hand in the first place? Because these young boys them have gone. How them get it? Where them parents it there to make people get them gone?
Because some of them, fathers are not in their lives. Okay? There's not that man in the house. It still comes back to that village, that community. You know, what are we going to do with those kids that don't have a father? That don't have that opportunity to sit down for the meal and all that. This is where we come in. And just remember, each and every one of us, the 10 of us here, we're here for a reason. We have discovered what our purpose is. We have discovered what our why is. We have to be that disciple out there trying to exponentially galvanize who we know.
Yeah, and Brother John is right. Many of them don't have fathers in home. What do we do in those states? And all of these things, all right? So God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. This was a very lively discussion. See you next week. We're coming up with some strategies. All right, God bless you, everybody. Thank you very much.